Oh hi. Quebec, the capital of the Canadian French-speaking province of Quebec and the main city agglomeration in the east of the province. In the city, the Quebec Parliament and the main machinery of government of the province is located, though the city is much less than Montreal. Since 2001, Quebec is one of the most economically prospering cities of Canada. The main sectors of growth of city economy are biotechnologies, the industry, tourism, healthcare, e-food, insurance, applied technologies. Quebec also important port center. Its port is the third in the country on goods turnover. Besides, the city accepts about 70,000 tourists and 30,000 members of crews annually. In 2009, the population of the city made 508,349 people who live in 6 urban areas. To cite Lemuel, Rivières, Saint-Fusil-Ricourt, Charlesbourg, Beauport and Ot St. Charles. Together with vicinity, 746,252 inhabitants live in the city. As of July 2016, the population of the city made 531,902 persons, and the capital area -800,296. It is the 8th largest city in Canada. In 2008, Quebec on a substantial scale celebrated the 400th anniversary from the date of the basis, having emphasized thereby the role of a cradle of the French civilization in North America. Quebec is known historical quarter, a large number of the museums and cultural organizations. A nickname of Quebec, the City of Theaters. History of the name Quebec. Narrowing of the river between Quebec and Levi. On the opposite coast. Gave the name to the city. Quebecan language of Algonquin meant the place where the river is narrowed. According to other theory, though less widespread than previous, Samuel D. Champlain borrowed the name from Indians who the word Quebec called the earth. One more hypothesis is that the city just bears a name of the Aboriginals living near this region of Quebec, today known as Montagne. During history also 2 other possible names of the city were considered. Samuel D. Champlain wanted to name the new city of Ludovica, in honor of the King Louis XIII. Besides, during creation of the Canadian Confederation in 1867 wanted to give the city the Indian name, Stadacona, to avoid confusion with the name of the new province. Background. The place on which there is a city of Quebec now in a literal sense was 14,000 years ago under the ice heading. 2,000 years later it appeared underwater as a result of thawing of glaciers which formed the Sea Champlain, which became the river over time. Then only the hills of Quebec were visible. Thus, only 6,000 years later the place where nowadays there is Quebec, seemed from underwater. March 18, 1534, Jacques Cartier sailed from Saint Malo to France to study internal lands and waterways of North America for the King of France, Francis I. He already studied the east coast of America in Brazil. Cartier chose the region which was on one parallel with France. The purpose consisted in finding the road to India, China and Japan. If it could reach there, Cartier would be able to establish control over the territory and trade in this new seaway to richness of the East. In the Gulf, the researcher and crew visited various places and left to the Gulf Gaspe, where at them the unexpected meeting with big group of indigenous Americans took place. Cartier met the leader by the name of Donnacona. After establishment of the relations with the first group of natives of Cartier took with itself 2 sons of Donnacona. They acted as conductors in the valley of the river of Saint Lavrenti. As the summer passed quickly, Cartier made the decision to return to France. He hoped to provide the conclusions, various objects and natives, to the king. Donnacona's sons accompanied Cartier on its travel to France. Allowed to conduct by Cartier the second expedition. Jacques Cartier learned that there is a place where the big river begins. He decided to rise along the river in 1535. Cartier rose down the river which called Saint Lavrenti's River. A main goal, however, needed to be found a new seaway to Asia. At the time the ships of other European powers which traded with Indians and caught a COD also came into the region. Cartier returned in 1541 for the purpose of creation of the permanent settlement. This pioneer settlement, Charbon Royal, was left less than in a year after the basis, summer of 1542, substantially because of hostility of natives in combination with difficult living conditions during the winter period. Quebec was founded by Samuel de Champlain, the French researcher and the diplomat on July 3, 1608, on the place long ago of the abandoned Iroquois settlement under the name Stadacona. Champlain, who is also called by the Father of New France, served as the managing director of the city all life. The place was favorable for creation of permanent colony. In 1665 the population of the city made 550 people in 70 apartment houses. A quarter of inhabitants were members of religious awards. Secular priests, Jesuits, Ursulinka which managed local hospital, Hotel Dieu. During War of the King Wilhelm, the Battle of Quebec, during which the English forwarding group under William Phipps's command got beaten by the French garrison headed by the governor Louis de Frontenac, took place on October 16, 1690. In August 1711, during War of the Queen Anne, British made one more attempt to occupy the city, also terminated in failure. Quebec was taken under control by British only in 1759 and occupied up to 1763. During 7 Years' War the city became the place of 3 battles. The Battle of Beauport, which ended with a victory of the French on July 31, 1759. Fight on Abraham's Plains, which the British troops under command of the General James Wolfe defeated the French General Louis-Joseph de Montcalm on September 13, 1759, and soon after that took the city. And final fight at Saint-Feu, whom the French won on April 28, 1760. France ceded New France, including the city, Great Britain in 1763. Old Quebec. At the end of the French board in 1758, the territory of the modern city of Quebec was the world of contrasts. The woods, villages, fields and pastures surrounded the city from 9,000 inhabitants. For comparison, the population of Montreal were made at the time by only 5,000 inhabitants. The city differed in monumental architecture, strengthenings, dirty streets, houses of the rich from a stone and hovels of poor people, Saint-Jean and Saint-Roch in the suburbs. Despite the status of the capital, Quebec remained a small colonial city which is closely connected with rural areas. In two markets of the city traded in surplus from farms and firewood, and B near import goods from France. British Board. During the American Revolution, revolutionary troops from the southern colonies attacked the British garrison in attempt to free Quebec. Defeat of revolutionaries from the South put an end to hopes that the people of Quebec will join the American Revolution and that Canada will join the Continental Congress and will become one of states of the United States of America together with other British colonies of North America. In fact, the result of fight became the beginning of split of the British North America on two various political educations. The city was not attacked during War of 1812 when the United States once again tried to occupy the Canadian lands. Because of concerns of repetition of the American attack on Quebec in 1820, construction of Quebec Fortress began. American Samoa also did not attack Canada after War of 1812, but till 1871 in Fortress there was a big British garrison. Fortress is still used by military and also attracts tourists. In 1840, after formation of the province Canada, the role of the capital was divided between Kingston, Montreal, Toronto, Ottawa and Quebec. From 1852 to 1856 and from 1859 to 1866. In 1867 in Ottawa, which was chosen as the permanent capital of the province Canada. The city was chosen as the capital of the Dominion of Canada. There took place the Quebec Conference on the Canadian Confederation. During World War II in Quebec, two conferences were held. The first Quebec Conference took place in 1943 with Franklin Delano Roosevelt's participation. The United States President at the time, Winston Churchill. The Prime Minister of Great Britain, William Lyon of Mackenzie King. The Prime Minister of Canada, and T5. Some. The Minister of Foreign Affairs of China. The Second Quebec Conference was held in 1944, and at it there were Churchill and Roosevelt. The conference took place in buildings of Fortress and next Chateau Frontenac. During these meetings the majority of plans of disembarkation in Normandy was developed. Throughout all the more than quarter-centenary history, Quebec served as the capital. From 1608 to 1627 and from 1632 to 1763, it was the capital of the French Canada and all New France. From 1763 to 1791, it was the capital of the province of Quebec. From 1791 to 1841, it was the capital of the Lower Canada. From 1852 to 1856 and from 1859 to 1866, it was the capital of the province Canada, and since 1867, it became the capital of the province of Quebec. The administrative region in which Quebec is located officially is called Capitale Nationale. Sites. The city is a part of the Special Capital District, near the mouth of the river of St. Lawrence. It is the only city to the north from Mexico whose impressive fortification constructions created for protection of New France against attacks of British reached our days. The old city of Quebec in 1985 was proclaimed the International Heritage of UNESCO. One of the main attractions of the city is the Frontenac Lock. Chateau Frontenac. The hotel constructed at the end of the 19th century in style of the late Middle Ages. Quebec is located on the left river bank of St. Lawrence. To the city of Levi located on the right coast it is connected by Quebec Bridge. Climate. Quebec is located in a damp zone of continental climate of the province and therefore has a temperate climate. This climate is characterized by 4 accurately expressed seasons. The hot summer, with a maximum is above 35 C, also cold winters, with minima 30 C and plentiful snowfalls. Between these 2 seasons there are a fall and spring with steady rains. In the summer weather usually solar, but when air hot and damp, it causes strong thunderstorms when passing cold fronts. The first snow usually drops out in October or November, but as a rule, snow cover is established till December.
During the winter of 2006/07, Quebec endured the periods of temperatures above an average and many rainfall in the form of snow to the middle of January.
On the contrary, in the winter of 2007/08, growth of number of blizzards and record snowfalls, about more than 550 CS of snow cover was observed.
One of the most known winter storm which struck Quebec, it is the March storm of 1971, which received the name Ideal Storm.
At the end of the French board, the population of Quebec, about 900 souls, almost twice exceeded the population of Montreal, about 500, but over time the last considerably overtook it.
According to a population census of 2006, 491,142 people lived in actually Quebec, and 715,515 people in capital area.
In total, 48.2% made men and 51.8% made women. Children under 5 years made about 4.7% of resident population of Quebec.
It is comparable from 5.2% in the province of Quebec, and 5.6% for Canada in general. In 2001, 13.0% of resident population in Quebec were a retirement age.
65 years and or more senior for men and women. In comparison with 13.2% in Canada. Middle age is 39.5 years in comparison with 37.6 years for Canada in general. In 5 years between 1996 and 2001, the population of Quebec grew by 1.7%, in comparison with increase by 1.4% in the province of Quebec in general.
Population density of Quebec 216.4 people per square kilometer, in comparison with mean value 5.3 for the province in general.
According to a census of 2001, more than 90% of the population Catholics. The city also has the small Protestant and Jewish communities. Immigration. Long time the city was gate of the Canadian immigration. At first natives of France, then, after Anglo-American gain lodged here, they were replaced by immigrants from the British Isles. Due to the rapid growth of the local French-speaking population and gradual replacement of English in the 20th century, Massachusetts British immigration stopped.
Immigration was resumed at the end of the 20th century, already in other quality and from other countries, from France generally again.
On a census of 2006, 22160 natives of foreign countries. Only 4.5% of its population lived in the city. Because of so low share of immigrants, unemployment rate among them, 10%, is much lower than in other cities of Quebec and Canada, though it is twice higher than among local population. 43% of profit from them from the European countries. That is the maximum indicator for the cities of North America, and 21% from the countries of the Western Hemisphere. 43% which arrived of Europe are made by citizens of France. The main thing and almost only language in the modern city is French, to be exact, its special dialect.
Unlike Montreal, the percent of inhabitants with native English is very small, about
9%. For comparison, inhabitants with native Spanish -3%.
French is native for 94.8% of residents, only about 15% know English at the good level.
These censuses of 2001.
At the same time, the fact that the population of the modern city in general traditionally treats the idea of independence of the province of other Canada.
During the last referendum on this question, only 54% of residents voted for independence. Is almost paradoxical. To it there are explanations.
First, being government employees of the capital of the province of the large federal state, many residents and members of their families are afraid to lose jobs and access to federal funds of Canada.
Secondly, few Anglophones of the city are not considered as direct threat anymore. This situation in Montreal is almost directly opposite to the Quebec. A share of Francophones there below. Besides, they are still forced to learn English to compete in labor market and in education with quite numerous and still influential English-speaking community. Especially in the business center of the city.
The British unsuccessful attempts of colonization and assimilation of French-speaking residents became numerous, but in general.
So, throughout the 19th century the city was the main center of acceptance of the British immigrants, and English was native for 40% of residents of Quebec of the time. Today English-speaking inhabitants make only 1.5% of the population of the city and its suburbs. Gradually, however, in process of outflow of the English-speaking population on economically more dynamic West and partial assimilation of Irish, English in the city fell into decay, and the French-speaking population strongly increased and now absolutely dominates. The key role in preserving of French was played by the Catholic Church, which opposed the value system to regulations of the British Protestantism and also higher natural increase of Francophones. More than 90% of citizens profess Catholicism. Unlike Toronto, it is a little natives of the former Usser, about 1,000 people.
The annual Quebec Winter Carnival attracts tourists from around the world, including from the neighboring English-speaking regions. Therefore, the English-speaking population considerably increases during this event.
Economy. The majority of jobs in Quebec are concentrated in the field of public administration, defense, services, trade, transport and tourism. As the capital of the province, the city receives benefits as the regional administrative center. By the way, the provincial government is the largest employer in the city. People in 2007 worked for him. Chuck. Local network of hospitals. Is also one of the largest employers in the city, about more than 1,000 employees in 2007. In 2008 unemployment rate in Quebec was 4.5%, that is much lower than the provincial and national average level, 7.3% and 6.6% respectively. About 10% of jobs are concentrated in manufacturing industry. Main products of production are cellulose and paper, ready foodstuff, metal, wood processing products, chemicals, electronics and the electric equipment, printed materials. Also in the city there is a studio of computer games, BNX. Education.
Laval's University is located in the western part of the city in St. Few's town.
However, the School of Architecture of the University of Laval is located in the center of Old Quebec. The central campus of the University of Quebec, National School of Government, National Research Institute are also located in the city. Numerous specialized secondary colleges are located in the city of Quebec, including College François-Xavier Garneau, O'Sullivan College, Limoilou College, Saint Foy College and Saint Lavrentie's College, and also private institutions, such as College of Notre-Dame-des-Foy, Mauricie College, College Bart.
Quebec has the oldest educational institution for women in North America, the Monastery the Ursulinac of Quebec, located at address 12 by Rue Donnacona.
Transport.
The Quebec Bridge and Pierre Laporte Bridge connect the city to the southern river bank of Saint Lavrentien.
As well as ferry traffic with Levi, the bridge connects Quebec to the Orleans Island. The city is the large center of the provincial network of highways spanning on both sides the rivers with the extensive system of highways. Several important highways of a road network pass by Quebec, from which 40th Highway connects it in the western direction with Montreal, and 175th Highway connects to the city of Chicoutimi. Management of public transport has the park of buses and recently entered regular bus routes. This station of intercity buses adjoins to the railway station. In 2018 the project of a construction of the high-speed tram, which it is going to finish by 2026, including 3.5 km tunnel under the Parliamentary Hill, is approved. Earlier in the city there was already a tram closed in 1948 in connection with transition to buses.
Railway transport is operated by the Viaduct Rail Company.
The station of Gare du Pale. Air and sea traffic. The city services the international airport of Jean Lesage, located in the western part of the city. Also there is a large port on Saint Lavrentie's River. Public security. The police department of the city of Quebec ensures safety in the city. Quebec has one of the lowest levels of crime in Canada. In the city there was no murder in 2007. Also far. Write comments. Read comments. Interesting people will tell interesting stories. All of good mood and good luck.